Hello and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name's Ro. For the last 6 months I've been in recovery from anorexia. I suffered with anorexia since my early teens. I'm now 19 and in December I just decided to go all in and get my life back, and I chose to nourish my body, to start healing myself, to heal my relationship with food and make better life choices basically. I'm filming this on the 26th of June and it was actually the 27th of December that I chose to go all in and was like, you know what? I'm not living like this, I'm gonna recover. So that was 6 months ago yesterday. No, 6 months ago tomorrow. And to say it's not been easy is a little bit of an understatement, but I'm here and I have done way more than I thought I could. Honestly, my life is just so different now. Today I thought I'd just sit down and do a 6-month all-in anorexia recovery update. Now I just want to preface this by saying, like, this is not me telling you how to recover, and also please do not compare, if you are on a similar journey, please do not compare where you are in your recovery to me. Everybody is completely different, everybody experiences an eating disorder differently. We're not the same person and we're not going to have the same journey, and it's perfectly fine if you're further ahead or further behind than I am in my journey at this point. But anyway, so this is going to be like a 3-part video. Basically I'm going to start with what I've done, how it's going, what I want to achieve in the future, and then a little Q&A bit at the end. Lots of you on Instagram sent me some questions, so I'm going to answer some of those at the end. There will also be no body pictures, transformation pictures, numbers mentioned in this video because I want this to be a safe space and I don't feel like that will help you. I feel like it will create comparison, so I'm not going to do that. I'm going to start by saying that I recently actually have reached a healthy BMI, which I do struggle with. I struggle with my body image, but I'm quite proud of myself because I think a lot of people didn't think I could do it by myself, and I have done it by myself, and my body is now in the healthy range. That doesn't mean that I am settling here or am weight restored. I don't really believe in BMI because it doesn't actually give you an accurate picture of your health. I'm just trying to listen to my body, let it do what it needs to do, and I know that it will settle at the weight that it's happy at instead of me trying to control the number, because I feel that will keep me stuck in anorexia. So I am technically a healthy weight. Also, I'm starting to get signs of my period. I've always wanted to have kids, so that was quite scary for me, so that's great. I've started eating more intuitively. So I started off with a meal plan, which some people, when I said I was going all in, they were like, well, you can't really be all in and be on a meal plan. What I said when I went all in was, I am going to do everything I possibly can. You know, that doesn't mean that one day I'm going to be severely anorexic and the next day I'm just going to be able to eat whatever the hell I want, because I don't think it works like that for a lot of people. For me it didn't work like that, it needed to be more gradual, but that didn't mean that I wasn't going to throw myself in. Basically I came home with a refeeding meal plan and just built it up myself, and I didn't have hunger signals, but over time I've started listening to my hunger because my body has kind of woken up to hunger. So at the start of recovery, eating was painful. Like, my stomach was probably quite small and I couldn't fit a lot of food in. I pushed past it, but I ended up feeling really sick, really just uncomfortable, just in pain. There was so much bloating. It was quite disheartening. I was like, well, why is my body repaying me like this, you know? And I got freezing cold after meals. It was all just like, what's the point? Like, this is painful. But I pushed past it, and you know what? It has actually gone. I no longer feel that really sick, horrible feeling after I eat. Like, my stomach is used to food again. It's so much better. The way I've done intuitive eating is to tell myself that I can't be intuitive in the sense that I'm allowed to skip a meal or a snack. So I have 3 meals and 3 snacks. My intuitive is eating those 3 meals and 3 snacks, but having what I fancy within them. And then if I'm still hungry, or if I'm mentally hungry, or if I want something else, I can have extra, and that's intuitive for me. It's quite dangerous to be like, oh, I'm not hungry right now, I'm gonna skip a snack, because that really does feed into like the mindset of, oh, we can skip things, and anorexia kind of takes hold of that. The last week's been really difficult for me. My hunger signals just went out the window again. So I kind of reverted back to, right, I have 3 meals and 3 snacks. You know what? It's been really hard. It has been really hard because I haven't been hungry and I felt nauseous and I've been like, I don't want to eat. But I know the second I give in a little bit, anorexia runs a mile. I've had to stay on top of it so much, and it has been really difficult, but you know what? I know that the only way out of it is to just keep going and consistently eating. So physical symptoms wise, I'm not cold anymore. I have spent so many years of my life being freezing cold in the summer, and now I'm not. Like, my body temperature is so normal again, and it's just amazing. My circulation was so bad in my feet, and my whole feet were just like purple, which is gross, I know, but that's gone. My skin, oh my gosh, my skin has improved a million times. Literally, like, I always thought I just had really bad skin and it was just like genetic and stuff. No, it was restriction. My pores were massive, it was bumpy, it was so dry. That was the main thing. It was so dry. If I put makeup on, it was just like crust off because it was so dry. I know that's gross. Since I've started having a balanced diet, eating enough, getting fats in there, not all healthy fats, like any kind of fat, it's just improved so much. And honestly, that is one of the things that has made it feel so worth it, because I've always been so self-conscious because my skin's been bad. I do still get spots, obviously. The actual texture of my skin is so much better. Eating disorder behaviours. I do not compulsively exercise anymore. I am doing light strengthening exercise. I'm doing yoga with a yoga teacher who's wonderful, and that has helped me so much. Just develop a relationship with my body again, where I was just sort of abusing it and putting it down 24/7, and now showing myself that actually, like, if I fuel my body, I can be strong and I can move in ways that make me feel good. I never enjoyed exercise before because it was so obsessive, but I'm really learning to move my body in a mindful way, and I am loving it. Counting calorie wise, you might have seen my video a few months ago now where I went cold turkey one day and was like, I need to stop counting calories. Well, I did it. I stopped. I deleted my calorie tracking apps, which are so toxic. This is your sign to delete them if you have them. I deleted them and I didn't re-download them. I didn't. Does that mean that my brain stopped being a mental calorie calculator? No. That's something you have to unlearn. It felt so out of control to start with. It was horrible. It was like, oh my god, I have no idea what's going on. But you know what? It didn't affect my rate of weight gain whatsoever. Like, I gained weight consistently in the same way I'd been gaining it when I'd been obsessing about calories. And I do still have days where I catch myself totting up numbers and I'm like, no, I don't do that anymore, stop. I definitely haven't added up what I've been eating in a day, and that's even on a week that I've struggled more. That is massive for me, and that is something I'm really proud of myself for, actually, because I didn't think I'd get away from that. I always thought, oh, I'll eat more, but then I'll eat within this like range that I've set myself. Like, that's not recovery for me. I didn't even know what calorie was before I got ill. I was just like, you could have said to me like, this has 4 calories in it, and I'd be like, what does that mean? A lot of people have asked me, am I in treatment? Am I under a treatment team? The answer to that is, for anorexia, not right now. I have a general mental health team and I have an eating disorder team, and I was under the eating disorder team. We were doing CBT, and every session I felt worse. Now, I'm not saying that this will happen to you if you're in therapy, but it didn't work for me. I felt like I mentally had to prove that I was anorexic every time because of the way I was recovering. Because I was trying to let go, it just felt really invalidating, and like I knew in my heart that that was the only way I was going to recover, is to just go for it and let go, because I'd tried like recovering before but holding on to everything, and it just didn't work for me whatsoever, which is why I've gone in this all-in sort of letting go, I'm going for it sort of method. I'm in the process of discharging myself from my eating disorder service, which is not me being ungrateful. I was very lucky to get therapy, but there are times where you have to take a step back and think about what's actually helping you, and I did feel it was keeping me tied to anorexia. Long story short, I'm discharging myself. I'm now working with a movement therapist who's doing yoga with me, who is blooming amazing, and that's helping me millions. And I also have my general mental health team, because I've got other general mental health stuff that I don't talk about because I don't really want to. It's just very personal and I don't feel that comfortable chatting about it, basically. But maybe one day when I'm in a better place with it and I have some sort of solid advice to offer on it, but right now I don't. I hope you understand. I've also gone back to college. I know when I did my last Q&A I was going in for like an hour a day, and actually that was quite recent. That was probably up until May. I was going in for like an hour a day. I'm now going in for like 4 hours a day. My focus isn't amazing, it's really not, but that's okay. It's getting there. I am starting to retain more information and managing to focus for longer, which has definitely come with weight restoration. Like, my brain's just not working. Like, I would just stare at pages and be like, what does that mean? Like, obviously I knew words, but my brain just did not process anything. Whereas now I can sit there and, to be honest, I can probably focus for like 45 minutes. Also, since I started nourishing my body, I have grown a little bit. I've got a bit taller, like probably like a centimetre, so really not that much, but it's something, isn't it? It's something. So I'm happy about that. Fear foods wise, I do still have quite a few that I need to face. Fear foods are not a case of do it once and it goes away. You really have to challenge, repeat, challenge, repeat, challenge, repeat, to teach your brain that, you know what, this food is okay. I have had to buy new clothes and it's been painful because some of my favourite jeans and stuff like that I just don't fit into. I've cried about it. I have cried and cried and cried about it. One thing that's really helped me is remembering that you are not meant to fit your clothes are meant to fit you. That is why there is a range of sizes. That's why there's not one size, because you're not meant to fit in to a certain size. You're meant to find a size that fits you at your natural body weight. Going on to what I'd like to achieve moving on, like I said a minute ago, I still do have fear foods, so I'd like to smash through and just conquer those last fear foods and just like get them done and just keep challenging them until I don't have fear foods. So basically the aim is to have 0 fear foods. I'd also like to know that I've got my period back for sure and have that. I'd like to be able to go out for breakfast, lunch and dinner. I'd also like to be able to have more than 1 meal out a day. So my dad's from Liverpool and my grandparents live up there, and we used to go there all the time before I got ill, like a few times a year. And obviously we'd be like out for the day, so we'd go out for lunch and for dinner, and I didn't think twice about that. That was fine. So I'd really like to get back to that point where I could literally just eat out and eat dinner out. Another thing I'd really like to achieve is being able to eat in college. I have actually done so well with eating in front of my friends, so I've actually been out for like takeaway kind of picnic things in the park with my friend. Like last night I had a snack at my friend's house. We just went to Tesco's and chose some snacks for ourselves and ate them. And you know what, it is a struggle, but it is like that bit of recovery that's like, this is so normal, like this is what I should have been doing this whole time. So that's lovely. But I'd really like to be able to eat in college and just eat around anyone. That is kind of difficult for me. I don't really know why, because college are amazing and they're so lovely. Ultimately, I'd like to be able to say I recovered from anorexia, and I do think I'll get there, which is lovely. Like if you'd have said to me 6 months ago, do you think you'll get there? I probably would have been like, I'll try, but is it going to happen? Possibly not. Now 6 months and I've solidly stuck to everything and I've kept going, and yeah, it's been so hard, but I've done it and I haven't had a single day where I haven't fought. This is the hardest bit now, is accepting the body I'm in and accepting the life I'm in, because actually with weight restoration a lot of stuff has come up for me that I realised I've been hiding from and I've realised what anorexia was doing for me and what it was blocking out and what I was running away from. And that is a really shitty part of recovery if you have other things in your life that you've struggled with. I'm gonna learn to deal with them, and that's gonna be okay. The way to deal with them is not by slowly killing myself and hurting everyone around me and making myself even more miserable. Anorexia miserable is kind of different to depressed miserable. Anorexia miserable is like, there is nothing in my life and you don't want anything, like you don't want anyone around you. I'm working through other stuff, but that's okay, you know, that is okay. Anorexia is a coping mechanism and it's a shit one, and I've learned that. Other things I'd like to achieve, I'd like to be in a place where I can finish my A-levels, and then I'd like to go to uni, and then eventually I'd like to be a psychologist. I think, we'll see, but I think. Now I'm going to move to the Q&A kind of section. I've got the questions on my phone, so I'm just going to go through and answer them. By the way, I did take a short break from social media because people's comments on my weight gain were really difficult to deal with. It's not so much being called healthy, because I have kind of taught myself that that's okay and I've been exposed to it so much that I'm more okay with it now, but it was kind of very vindictive, deliberate, targeted comments. That's why I took a break. But I'm back. So, is there one specific thing that is getting you through your battle, like a goal at the end? Knowing that if I give in, I will be in this cycle forever. And actually, listening to anorexia doesn't solve my problems, it exacerbates them. It makes everything worse. And you know what, my end goal has always been to be in a job where I help other people, which, like I said, I think that I want that to be a psychologist. I can't help people recover from an eating disorder if I have an eating disorder and I am deep in an eating disorder myself. Like, hello, that would be so unhelpful. So that's kind of keeping me going. And also just knowing that, like, I need a life, and I haven't had a life for so long, and I don't want to waste more of my life. Favourite food you've discovered during recovery? I'm so torn, because I want to be like baked oats, but I also want to be like Biscoff. And then I was like, Biscoff baked oats? Biscoff baked oats. Do you find it hard comparing yourself to others in recovery? 100%. Yes, definitely. It is so hard because I often look at like how far I've come or how quickly I've gained weight or whatever and be like, it's too fast, they did it slower. The way I like get through this is think that in 80 years, when I've lived my life, they've also lived their life. If I waste mine just because they waste theirs, is that going to make me happy? Am I going to be glad that I've wasted my life on anorexia just because somebody else wasted their life on anorexia? I see more for myself than that, and I can't control the way other people recover or the way other people live, and I need to focus on myself because this is my life. I've said that to myself over and over and over and over and over again. This is my life. I haven't experienced an eating disorder in the same way they've experienced an eating disorder. Doesn't mean mine's less severe, doesn't mean it's more severe, it's just not the same. Therefore, our recovery is not going to be the same. I cannot focus on the fact that they are not, you know, doing it as fast as me, or focus on the fact that other people did it faster or whatever, and like, oh, it's not good enough. Like, you just can't compare because you need to prioritize you, and that means blocking out anyone else. It doesn't matter what their body looks like, it doesn't matter how long they've struggled for, it doesn't matter if they're not gaining weight. Nothing to do with them matters because this is my life and this is my recovery. Right, this is kind of deep, and I really don't want this to come across as negative. Are you happy? This one's really hard because I don't want to start crying actually. It's not that I put out a fake front on social media because I don't. I think I'm very real and honest. Am I happy? I can't say I am. Not being happy does not mean that I don't have happy moments. It doesn't mean that I don't have highs just because I have lows. It doesn't mean that I won't be happy in the future. It doesn't mean that I've lost faith that I will ever be happy. It's just that right now I'm going through a lot and I don't feel happy. You know, things aren't perfect. It wouldn't be fair of me to show you all the highlights and none of the low points because that's not true, and you might be going through recovery and be like, well, she didn't feel this shit, so that's why she can recover. But you know what, I feel pretty awful. But that's not an anorexia thing, that is actually other aspects of my mental health that I'm now not using anorexia to cope with, which is why they feel kind of worse. And so I can't sit here and say, yes, I'm happy. When I was deep in anorexia, I was low all of the time. Now I can laugh. I can sit with my friends and I can laugh, and I have so much more freedom. So am I happy? No. Am I getting there? Yes. Am I using anorexia to cope with the fact that I'm not happy? No. I'm happier, and I'm happy about things in my life. Anyways, that's that. I hope that wasn't too negative. Next question. What's the biggest challenge or fear food you've done? So I'd actually say it's one of like the earliest ones I've done, which is cake. I did that for my 19th birthday back in January, and I've done it a few times since for other birthdays. I would say some of the biggest fear foods I do have I am still yet to face though, which I'm kind of annoyed at myself for because I wanted to like not have any fear foods by this point, but realistically that was definitely me setting myself up for more than I can manage, so it's fine. What are you able to do now that you weren't able to do with anorexia? Laugh, spend hours with my friends, walk around, run, do yoga, feel strong, try new foods, cook, study, like everything. Even though things feel tough and even though I don't feel amazing, I can't tell you how many more things I can do in my life that I couldn't do. That is something to hold on to, you know? How do you deal with weight gain? I'm so proud of you, by the way. First of all, thank you. Second of all, loose clothes. And two phrases that I've kind of, I don't know if anyone else says them, I've kind of just sort of like said them to myself, but they've helped me. You are more than how your body looks. Your body's a vessel for your soul. I know there's this whole cheesy thing of like, who you are inside is what matters, but like, it's true, isn't it? You could be beautiful, but be an absolutely horrible person. I wouldn't want to spend time with you. Like, I care about people because they are kind and because they make me feel good. I don't care about people because like, her waist is skinny. Like, I don't care. And how do I deal with it? Is telling myself that compared to where I was like 6 months ago, my body had to change for me to survive. Now that applies to anyone in any form of restriction because your body can't sustain restriction without being damaged and potentially limiting your lifespan. My body is doing so much for me. My body is fighting for me every second of every day. Like, my body literally keeps me alive all day and all night, and I'm really gonna go and tear it down and tell it, sauce babes, you don't deserve food. Absolutely not. How do you cope with feeling more emotions because your body is fueled? That shit's hard. It's difficult because you do the weight restoration, you do the eating, and you're like, wow, I'm gonna feel great, and then you get all these emotions that you've obviously been running from, and you're like, what do I do with this? Feeling emotion is healthy. Not every emotion is healthy for a long period of time. Obviously, it's not healthy to be like really low for ages, but feeling emotion is part of life. Feeling emotion is healthy. Numbing yourself through starvation is not healthy. I have to feel these emotions to work through them, to get over them, and that's kind of how I deal with it, is kind of sitting with it and kind of being like, okay, this is shit, but it's happening. How do you deal with thoughts about wanting your pre-recovery body back, if any? My brain really glamorizes my pre-recovery body. It's like, you felt amazing, you felt slim, people thought you were attractive. Like, sorry, no. If you are feeling that, I promise you, your brain is lying to you. If I take myself back and I try and stand in the shoes that I was in December before I chose to recover, I was freezing cold. I felt like I could collapse at any moment. I couldn't sleep because it hurt to lie down. My family were just despairing because they didn't know what was going to happen to me. I couldn't actually communicate with anyone. I couldn't hold conversations. It was like torture for my friends to be around me because all I did was like stand and stare. Like I could barely hold a conversation. What came with the not being able to do college, with the lack of friendship, with the complete numbness, do you know what came with that? Was my pre-recovery body. So do I really want that back? Because that is what it brings. If I go backwards, I lose everything I've worked for. And okay, I might feel a bit of comfort that I'm underweight and in a smaller body, but that comfort will last like 3 minutes and then I want to be lower. It's a mind game. I need to accept my body as it comes, and that is not being dangerously underweight. What am I most proud of in my recovery? I'm just proud that I've managed to do this by myself. I got to a healthy weight literally by myself. Like, I barely really have had therapy. Ultimately it was down to me to gain the weight, and it was down to me to do the eating, and I'm really proud of that because I think a lot of people thought I couldn't do it, and I thought I couldn't do it, and I've done it. I actually have done it. How do you deal with overthinking about what other people think? This is so hard. I know it's really hard. I'm always thinking they think this, 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 and this, and this, and this. Let me tell you, like, your brain's lying to you. Like, I'm sorry, but it is. Nobody realistically is thinking the things that you're thinking. Unless they tell you they're thinking it, you are probably being convinced by your head that that's happening when it's not. So I kind of just have to tell myself, like, first of all, nobody probably is thinking that. Second of all, if they are thinking that, that is such a them problem. Like, if they're thinking something negative about me, or they're not understanding where I've come from with my anorexia, or they're not understanding that this is the way I need to recover, that is their problem. If they want to be weird about stuff, they can be. Like, it's not my issue, this is my life. Does dealing with weight gain and guilt get easier over time? I think it comes in waves. I think it gets easier and then it gets harder and then it gets easier and then ultimately it gets completely easier. To start with, because you're so conditioned to like being so obsessed with your body and you're like, this is how I look. Weight gain, absolute no. And it's really, really hard seeing your body change. As you gain weight and gain weight and gain weight, you just kind of learn to accept that actually, like, my body is changing. It's changing every week. That's how this is going. I need to just get used to it. And it really is not that simple, but it does definitely get easier. Like, now, if my weight went up, I think I'd probably like be able to say to myself, do you know what, like, if that's what my body needs, then that's okay. It doesn't mean it doesn't bring guilt. It doesn't mean that I don't want to like scream when it happens, but at the same time it doesn't feel like my instinct is like, don't eat because of it. So in that sense it has gotten easier. Guilt, I can rationalise guilt so much better now. Like, I can just be like, do you know what, everyone eats. Do you know what, my mum sat there eating, I'm eating, what makes me different? Do you have any advice on how to become aware of and honour mental hunger? Take a step back and think to yourself, am I thinking about food right now? Do I feel like I want to eat food right now? And if you're thinking about food, then you probably are hungry. And if food is all you can think about, then you definitely are hungry as well. The average person doesn't spend their whole life thinking about food unless they are hungry. That's your body's reaction, isn't it? Like, let's think about food, so they go and get food. So just kind of take a step back and be like, you know what, I'm thinking about food. That's because my brain and body have been starved and this is what I need. And honouring it, just tell yourself, you know what, this is not wrong. Try and just be kind to your body and think about your body as like a friend that you need to like look after, because your body and brain are not sending those signals because they're out to get you. They're not sending those signals because they want you to like lose control and be, you know, be something that you don't want to be. It's not about that. It's genuinely like biology. It's like you're hungry. What does going inpatient feel like? I'm not going to talk much about this. It's a bit of a sensitive subject. Also, not the most helpful for anyone. But I do just want to like talk about the fact that if you see on social media like inpatient looking glamorous, let me tell you, it's hell. It is absolute hell on earth. And it didn't validate me. It didn't make me feel like I wanted to recover. It set me back. That's why I've recovered at home this time. It won't be like that for everyone. There are certain hospitals that are great. For me, it was hell. But I get loads of questions about like what was inpatient like, and I'm just not going to go into detail. Being inpatient really doesn't prove anything about how ill you were or, you know, any of that. And it's not necessary to recover for most people, for me anyway. Am I able to drive? Unfortunately, I applied for my provisional licence, which is what you need here in the UK to have lessons, and it did just get denied for like medical reasons, I guess. But I can't drive, which is why I get driven around everywhere by like my parents. But I'm hoping I will be able to. I'm hoping I'll get myself in a place where it'll be like, guys, I can drive, and then they'll be like, okay, I give me my provisional. Has your mental hunger decreased or settled down compared to before recovery? Yeah, I don't actually think about food 24/7 now. I can get on with stuff, I can do stuff, and I do think about food probably more than the average person because I do still have anorexia in my brain. But it's died down a lot, and so is my extreme hunger. Like, I honoured it for a while as long as it was there, and then it just kind of ebbed away and it's kind of gone. The last question I'm going to answer is, What advice would you give to parents might want to understand more? This is assuming that the person watching this is a parent that wants to help their child and wants to understand. Let me know if you want me to do a whole video on this, because I can if people want me to, but the main thing I'd say is know that every day is different, and some things you say on one day might be the right thing, on another day it could be the wrong thing, but don't beat yourself up for that because it's not your fault. If you're trying to help, then you are doing your best. Your child reacting badly is not them spiting you. It's not because they think you don't care about them. It's not because they're angry at you. They have an illness. It makes life very hard to deal with and very hard to process. It makes you isolate yourself. Just know that your child is not doing this to spite you. Please be patient with them and please listen to them and hear what they have to say, and remind them that actually you are going to love them no matter what. I think that's what a lot of people need to know, is that like no matter what, your love and support is going to be there. Now I know not everyone has that kind of relationship with their parents, so it can be hard, but just sort of reminding your child that actually they are worthy of food, they are worthy of love and respect, and you are there to hear whatever they have to say. That's going to conclude the video. I just want to say thank you so much for all your support on my journey. I mean, it's been 6 months, I still have a way to go, but you've been here the whole time and I just am incredibly grateful. I hope you all know that this is possible for you too, and it's not something that's out of reach. Like, if you have it in you that you want to recover and you want your life, then you can do it. You can get there, you really can. I'll be back to like filming ET videos soon and like other things. I just haven't been in the best place, and that doesn't mean I've been restricting. I haven't, it just hasn't been a good vibe. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed. I love you all so much, so much. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. I love you, take care of yourself, and I will see you all soon.